I hope that that interpretive dance wasn't giving away too much. Hey guys, welcome back to another 31 Days of Horror. Today I'm standing up. Watch out. I actually used to film videos all the time standing up, if you remember, in my old house. I thought it gave me a lot more energy. It's actually how I started. No, I started sitting on the end of the bed and then I went to standing up, and I used to walk into, do anyone remember when I used to walk into the frame and be like, hey, and then walk out at the end? Wow, flashback. Anyway, I am here today to talk about 2003 horror. It's got to be a horror drama or something like that. Horror movie, Love Object. I was very surprised by this film, as I feel like I'm saying for every one of these films, but wow, this was a journey. This did not go down the road I expected it to. This one is directed by Robert Parigi. I probably am saying that completely wrong. I'm sorry, Robert. And it stars Desmond Harrington, who always reminds me of Wes Bentley, especially in this role. He is a writer for TV manuals, and his boss in this is actually Rip Torn, who unfortunately passed away this year, but he plays a stellar boss. I'm sure you guys already knew that. I loved him on Freddy Got Fingered. He always was the most memorable character for me. In this film, Harrington plays Kenneth, who, as I said, is a manual writer, and he doesn't really have a lot of luck with the ladies, you know? So when some of his work buddies joke around with this sex doll, realistic sex doll, like one of the full silicone sex dolls, that are, well, I guess it's not silicone. It might be silicone. It's like all the way through to the bone. Anyway, he gets a little bit interested, but not as interested as when he has a woman start working under him as his typist, and things collide. I thought this film was going to be like him getting really creepy about his love doll, and then getting really creepy about the girl that he works with, which, I mean, yeah, but it doesn't go quite the direction you were thinking it was going to go, and I felt like it had such a weird 2000s charm to it. The music at some points was like elevated jazz music, at other points it had like classical. I felt like it had this chill vibe to this psychological, pretty dark story, and quite sexual, might I add. Not safe for work. And I just really wasn't expecting it to be like that. It's quite a simple story, but it's done right, and it really has some fun kind of comedy aspects in there, some kind of jokes on itself, which I thought was quite clever, and it just was really well thought out. The film was only shot in 18 days, and I don't think you can tell, but of course it's not like the highest budget film. It's pretty like TV movie, but super X-rated. But it has that kind of feel to it, but it is an easygoing movie that you would imagine would be on TV in the afternoons. Am I sick? A little bit. It definitely had some stereotypes about men in the office. Men, I guess he's not an IT guy, but like men around that, you know, like that whole stereotype, especially when the girl comes in and he's like, I need to work with a girl. She can't do anything, but it played on itself, which I really appreciated. This film is really interesting because the way that the main character is explained is not through dialogue or like internal dialogue, narration, any of that kind of stuff. You just kind of see him thinking out the pattern as he goes along. And I thought he was thinking one thing, but he was thinking something completely different. So I think it was kind of cool to just watch him and be a fly in the wall. It's not really a film where you're meant to 100% be on board with him, or even 100% know what he's gonna do. And I think that was kind of the fun of watching it unravel. I feel like I've been going through this thing lately where I've been watching a lot of these films and not liking the end. And for this film, I felt like it was going so steady, and the storyline is quite compelling, and it like travels quite fast. And then it's just crazy stuff happens at the end, which I can love, but when it was coming towards the final scene, and you'll get there, the final scene, I was like, oh, I don't really want it to go this way, and then it completely switches, and I was very happy with the way this film ended. I hope that that interpretive dance wasn't giving away too much, but I definitely stick with the end, because there's also this amazing twang just before the credits. It just lets you know, although it's like a dramatic film, it understands what it is, and I love that about this film. I love simple films with interesting characters, interesting storyline. I mean, a sex doll and a TV manual maker. Just being really simple and knowing what it is and playing on that completely. I think it's remarkable that this film was actually shot in 18 days. I really wouldn't have picked it. It has a lot of different scenes, a lot of different locations, and I think they pulled it off quite well. I was very pleasantly surprised by this film. I think it's one you have to see to be able to talk about more. Obviously, there's a lot of spoilers that I can't let out, but I think it's definitely worth your time. I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed it. For what it's worth, lower budget, fun movie, good to watch in like the afternoon sometime. I love how I'm saying like a fun movie. It also has a lot of blood and carnage in it, you know, like death. I thought that it had a really interesting vibe, and I was really interested to see where it went, and I haven't seen a film like this in a long time. It kind of reminded me of May, but May is a little bit more serious. Anyway, both films I'd highly recommend. Love Object is a film that you think is gonna go one direction, and it kind of gets there, but on the way, it's a little bit of a journey, and I really feel like the lead pulled that off tremendously, and the script was really well written to kind of disguise all these thoughts, but also keep you hooked to his character. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know if you've seen Love Object down below and what you rated it out of 10. I'd love to know your score. I love reading all of your scores and seeing how you felt. If you felt different, if you felt the same, can't wait to read it. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for another 31 Days of Horror. Bye guys!